Hello, well, thank you for having me here. I am Dr. Lum Frundi. I am a pediatrician and founder of Generational Wellbeing. I help mothers and parents create sustainable, healthy habits for themselves and for their families so that they can have a healthy and life full of energy to take care of their young ones.
I love that. I love what you do, and sustainable habits is that's what we're all about over here.
Right, absolutely.
So, with the new year upon us, we were talking a little bit beforehand about, some of the winter struggles of runners and of all people with exercise this time of year, and trying to, get back into a consistent routine or maybe start a consistent routine with exercise. So, tell us your thoughts, I guess, first on consistency, and maybe we can dive into some ways to help everybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when the weather is cold or if it's raining or snowing, those are all reasons to come up with like, I can't go outside, it's too cold. It's easy for ourselves to sell ourselves out of, what we really want to do. So usually when I start out with consistency, I say you have to really plan it out where as you're making goals for the new year, you want to actually put it on your schedule where okay, I am going to exercise at least 3 times a week per se, right? That means that if maybe today's raining, you have it where the next day you're going to have that time to go out and exercise. That gives you some flexibility, but then it puts it where when you're putting at least as opposed to 3 times, you have that flexibility where, okay, I am actually going to do it.
Yeah.
And I usually turn to schedule mine in the mornings, usually because I exercise for several reasons. Main reason why I exercise is because of the energy, right? It gives me a lot of energy. So if I'm starting my day out, I look forward to it because it's that boost that would take me throughout the day. And then second, if you get it done in the morning, you're done, right? You're feeling accomplished already. It gets your mind ready. Like I already started the day with a feeling of accomplishment per se.
Yeah, I'm also
Yeah.
a morning exerciser. I'm not a very early morning person, to be honest. So, but putting it in the morning is definitely a better plan for me, because one thing will lead to another, and if I try to do it later in the day, it's like the sun is going down and I have completely forgotten about it. So I also tend to do everything in the morning.
Right, absolutely. And that just goes towards, like that goal too, where it's like, okay, you're done with it, moving on. And it gets your day, going faster or better.
Yeah. I love what you said about planning it out. And we do that too here with our group of athletes. Everybody's run training plan is in, it's in a platform that we use called Final Surge, but you can move the workouts around. So we do, starting the week, we look at the week ahead, but things can be, you can click it and drag it. But I think seeing everything there for the week ahead, it just gives your brain that much more, it's sort of like pre-contemplative, right? So you
Right.
can see all the things that you have on your calendar and work it in when it works best for you, with some wiggle room. Like we're not going to be perfectionist about it, but we can move it, we can be flexible, but it does help to see it there, I think.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because I mean, sometimes when you don't really write things out and you don't see it, the you're less likely to actually do it.
Yeah. If you think in your head, oh, well, I will, go for my run or my walk on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but you don't write it down when the alarm goes off Monday morning. I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't feel like getting out of bed, especially in the cold winter here.
Right, right.
Do you have some advice? Maybe something we could say to ourselves, like in that moment, right? When Monday morning, when the alarm goes off, and we took your advice and we said, okay, we're going to exercise Monday morning, and the alarm goes off, and we really don't want to do it. Do you have some advice for us?
Yes, actually, usually I say put your reason why in front of you. You have to remind yourself, why am I running, right? Is it for that energy? I'm like, okay, if I don't go out for a run today, I may, not be as I want to be for the day. I may not have enough energy. And when you're tired, the way you relate to your colleagues at work, or even how you relate to your kids at home, you're more reactive. So it's just like, so you have to put yourself that reason, why am I really exercising? Is it I want to lose weight? Is it for energy? Is it I'm preparing for a wedding or something? Well, once you have that why, the reason has to be bigger than you. You're more likely to overcome the little setbacks here and there where you are actually looking for opportunities to exercise rather than like, oh, I have to go out again today. It's a drag and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. The reason has to be bigger than you.
Yes.
That's a quotable quote, Dr. Loom. Okay.
Yeah, it's worked for me really well. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I know what this is doing for me. It's bigger than me. It's more than me. It's about my kids. It's about work. It's about my patients. It's about my colleagues and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
as a fellow pediatrician, I'm sure this comes up for you a lot too, both, as a pediatrician and as a mom, but could you give advice for maybe trying to work in exercise with the family? Like I do have a lot of people with children, or they're trying to get their children more active and into maybe some of the exercise that they do, whether that be walking, running, cycling, whatever it is. But if you have some advice for bringing the family along on the journey.
Oh, absolutely. And when we say running exercise, you can make it your own. It doesn't have to be rigid. You don't have to go out and walk outside every day. As a family, let's say when my daughter was in dance and ballet, I used that time when she was in there to just walk around the building. That was
Smart.
my walk time. Yeah. So
Yes.
it's like incorporating it where, yeah, I know you can't get out of work. You have to take the kids to practice, you have to pick them up and stuff, but just working your exercise around their schedule where if they're in the park playing, let's say it's a day that it's nice outside while they're playing in the park, you're just walking around there. Sometimes I will play a game with my kids. Let's see who's going to touch that tree and come back. So you can actually get the kids involved where you're playing with them and
Mhm.
you're running and you're
Yeah.
putting your steps in, right? And it's
Yep.
fun for the entire family where, you're spending quality time. Play is really important for kids as well. Laughter and joy, all important stuff. So you're doing so many different activities in one.
Yeah.
That way, it's not like cut out, like, oh, I don't have an hour in a day, but just putting it, merging it with your already planned out activities.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think, yeah, especially with time being, a resource that we can't get back. And we all have very busy schedules, and there's sometimes it feels like there's just so much on that calendar, and especially when kids' activities are involved. So that's great advice. You know,
Right.
two for one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, just make it your own because there's that idea that each run has to be the same or exercise has to be lifting weights, or if you're not really doing some intense activity, it doesn't count. So when I say sustainable, it's just adding up because once you keep going, it adds up where you start out with 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes 3 days a week. By the end of the year, when you look at it, it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, everybody can start from somewhere, even if that is, yeah, 5 or 10 minutes in those little pockets of time, but you can create it. And then as you get into the routine, I think that this is what I've found, but I wanted more and more of that because I liked how I
Right,
felt, right?
right, absolutely. That's me too. Where sometimes I'm now telling myself, okay, you need to back off and rest today.
Yes, yes. Now, exactly. Same here. Yep. Now the activity piece is not so much the issue. It's the remember to incorporate rest and recovery and all of that.
Right, right,
Yep.
absolutely. Because that's another part with consistency too. Because when you go, 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 the tendency is, injury, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not resting to
If you're not
recover, and that
resting.
may Yeah. And that could be another reason why you may have to stop exercising or running halfway through your plan because either, I had an injury here or an injury there. That usually is a huge setback I've noticed, even with my patients in clinic too, where I
Yeah.
have to tell them, you may have to stop running for at least a week or so until you probably heal, and you need to see their faces like, you all right?
Yes.
Why?
This is like the worst thing you can tell a runner, right? And so that is
Right.
like that's the number one thing is preventing the injury in the first place so that we can continue. 1 week is not so bad, but a few weeks, oh my, yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, any parting advice for us before we go? Any other advice on this topic of consistency with exercise? Did we
Um,
cover it?
I think we did. I think we did. I think maybe one other thing that I will add to that is just being aware of your body as well, and know your limits and know when you can push on, because your body, once you start becoming aware, you can know when to slow down and you can know when to kind of pick up that pace too.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. The awareness and
Right.
knowing your body, which comes with time and practice.
Correct. Correct.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge. Can you tell everybody where to find you and what you've got going on?
Right. I am on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram at Dr. Lum MD. And I also just started a Facebook group, Generational Wellbeing, where it's a group where I'm encouraging mothers as well to come in, where we can talk about different challenges that may be facing with, setting those healthy habits. Let's say if you're been diagnosed with like a chronic disease condition, high blood pressure, diabetes, or obesity and stuff, and you're struggling, your doctors are telling you it's time to make that change. You don't know where to start, but you're having a hard time. It's a group to be where you can talk about it and just kind of help you work through it.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm going to join the Facebook group too, so I will see you guys over there.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us. And thanks everybody out there for watching and listening and sharing with a friend. We
Thank you
will,
for having me.
yeah, my pleasure. We will see you guys soon.